So there's one girl that really caught your eye and you just want to know, how do I get this one woman to like me? In fact, how do I get this one woman to be obsessed with me? And then you do your best, you try, you talk to her, and then maybe you end up in the friend zone. Or even worse, she just completely rejects you altogether. And now you're confused. You're asking yourself, what did I do wrong? Hopefully you're asking yourself, what can I do in the future to be able to get the women that I'm interested in me? Well, today I want to go over 3 main things that you need to be working on to make sure that you're getting women attracted to you and even more obsessed with you. I'm Trip Kramer from tripadvice.com, founder of the #1 men's coaching program in the world that helps men be able to meet more women, attract women, whether it's online or in person. More on that later, but let's talk about how we can get women obsessed with you. One is the obvious, and the internet loves to talk about it, and I'm sure you're gonna talk about it too. The whole idea of your looks, your money, your status. I like to group this into one category. We'll just call it lifestyle. How you live, who you spend your time around, where you spend your money on, the type of place that you actually live in, the things that you wear, the things you don't wear. All of these things are part of who you are, let's say on an external basis. I like to call them outer qualities. And as a man, you need to have your outer qualities be worked on all the time. It's not something you do to attract women. It's not something you work on for a week, a month, or even a year. Ideally, you work on it for your entire life. Why does this get a woman obsessed with you? Well, the whole idea is that women are looking for a provider protector. This is her primal response. This is what makes her attracted to men. And she's attracted to men who have a lifestyle that could be fun and entertaining, as well as one that she can see herself being a part of. One that's gonna make sure that provides for her so she can eventually have children and raise the babies. Now that stuff might not be literal, but those are the things that she's thinking about and looking for. Again, more on this subconscious basis. So yes, you always need to be working on your career. You need to be working on your health. You need to be working on your network. And by God, you should have your own place or at least be working towards that. There's a lot of young guys out there right now who are entrepreneurs, who are finding side hustles, who are absolutely crushing it. And you can too if you put more work and energy toward it, so you can live in your own place and you can have a lifestyle that's more fun and interesting. Now, I'm not saying you need to live this Dan Bilzerian lifestyle, and I'm not going that route. That is not what the average guy can do, right? And that's not the advice I want to give. I want to help as many guys as possible. So the bottom line is you need to make sure you have your money, your career, your finances, and your lifestyle in check, or you're always working towards it. So you're making more money so you can have a lifestyle that's going to be one that she wants to be a part of, but even more importantly, one that you are enjoying and one that is being fruitful for you, because hopefully you want to be living a lifestyle that's worth living, not sitting at home in your parents' basement. Now, the next one that needs to be talked about, and what I believe is the most important, is your personality and your behavior. Now, the reason why I think that this is the most important is because your personality is something that you can be able to change and work on a lot faster than the previous thing, which is working on your career and your finances and your health and network of friends and things like that. That might take a lot longer. So this is going to be faster, but also it's going to be more effective. Women are attracted to behaviors that convey someone who either has the means or resources, so someone who is actually wealthy, but also they are attracted to the behaviors of a man who has what's called potential, okay? So what that means is, if you are a man who poses the characteristics of someone who can provide, you're very sociable. It means that you're a leader. It means that you're very dominant. It means that you are very resourceful. You are very good at your job or good at what you do. You're funny. You're interesting to be around. These are all characteristics of a guy who can provide. So women are attracted to the potential as much as they are to the person who already embodies and and has the, let's say, resources. By the way, this is all coming from a study that was done across 37 cultures and show that there are a lot of very similar things between all these cultures in terms of the mating habits of men and women. This is all done by David Buss, the author of The Evolution of Desire. Those are characteristics and personality traits that you can work on right now. You can work on being more decisive. You can work on being more of a leader, more like alpha kind of traits. You can be a guy who is more charismatic, more sociable. You can work on those things and you can get faster results. I remember back in the day when I was working on this stuff and I was trying to be and embody a guy who had these characteristics, I was able to get to that point in a matter of 3 to 4 months. That is a blip of time, my friend. So you can be working on this stuff right away. We actually help with this over in the TripAdvice coaching program. If you go to tripadvicecoaching.com, and I'll put a link down in the description, then you can be able to get more information on the coaches that can help you. We have one-on-one coaches on staff. That means that we have coaches that are available to work with you one-on-one to be able to help you with these characteristics and become a guy who's able to trigger attraction in women, even if you're not some guy who is super good looking or tall. So again, we're talking about personality. We're talking about the traits and the behaviors that women are attracted to. That's something that you're not necessarily always working on like you are some of those other things, right? I said health, wealth, and appearance. Those things are always optimizing over the whole course of your life. But working on some of these traits, while I personally am still working on them, I put way more effort into that in the first couple of years that I was trying to become a guy who is more attractive using personality. And now I have an amazing woman who not in a million years I thought I would ever be with. In fact, a former captain of the dance team over at the Chicago Lovables. And I'm not saying this to show off, but really prove a point that I'm a guy who was very non-charismatic, but working on those personality traits helped a ton. Now, the third thing to get a woman obsessed with you is making sure that you are avoiding the two most unattractive traits. Those traits are 1, neediness, and 2, predictability. So that means that once you are being very needy with a woman, trying to get her attention all the time. And once you become a guy where everything you guys do together is so predictable, that means you're not spiking any emotions. That means that she's gonna get bored. She's gonna move on to a guy who will. And these things are very easy to fix. Let's go over neediness real quick. First of all, if you are being needy all the time and wanting a lot of her attention, that means that you're not busy. That means that you're not keeping yourself occupied. One of the best things you could do is actually be getting and working on hobbies. That way, you'll be taking up your time and you won't need to be texting her all the time. You won't need to be meeting up with her all the time. There should be time and distance between you two so she craves you and wants to be with you more, and so you keep busy. Neediness will turn her off so fast. And 2, predictability. Now here's the good news. The good news is that when you first meet a woman, everything's unpredictable because everything's very new. You're trying new restaurants together, you're doing new sex positions together, you're seeing each other in new lights all the time, you're seeing each other in new clothes, you're experiencing so many firsts. So that doesn't really become any sort of issue. But when you start dating a woman more, especially when you get into a relationship with a woman, there's less variety. So that means that things become more predictable and women become attracted based on emotion, and therefore there's no emotional spikes, and predictability is what's going to get her bored and not attracted anymore. So to continue to get her obsessed, there needs to be variety. Variety is the spice of life, they say. So you have to be doing random trips all the time. You have to be making sure you're trying new stuff in the bedroom. You have to be trying new restaurants. You need to be doing things more spontaneous and random. And I know it sounds like a lot of work. Well, it is, and relationships are a lot of work. Everything is technically a lot of work, but again, it is worth it if it's something you want, and we can help you. We have a whole coaching program, guys just like you, and tells them exactly what to do when they're entering relationships, when they are meeting new women for the first time, and also, of course, how to meet women for the first time. So you're not alone, and you don't have to do this alone, but these are the 3 things. You want to make sure that you are always working on a lifestyle that's going to be creating a good life for you. Usually that's going to be in the form of your career and your wealth, but also in terms of your network, your friends, the people you spend your time around, also your appearance and the way that you look, dressing well, hygiene, all those good things, right? So you want to make sure that that is down. That's something that's going to take a little bit longer. And then you have number 2, which is your personality, what I think is the most important, and having those behaviors in line with what women are attracted to. Number 3 is avoiding the 2 most unattractive traits, which again are neediness and predictability. Work on those things, and if you need help, go to tripadvicecoaching.com, where we can chat with you on how we can get you to the next level with meeting more women.